All right, this is the Ingenuity, radical equations, and the extraneous roots. So we're going to be going over the assignments. All right, so the first slide, let me rewrite this. Okay, so first thing you need to understand, in order to get rid of that cube root, you have to cube both sides. Okay, so after you do that, you're going to just have x squared minus 8 equals 2. So 2 cubed is going to be 8. Okay, so next thing you want to do is going to add a on both sides. Okay, so you're going to have a squared equals to, these are canceled, so x squared equals to 16. So x is going to equal to positive or negative 4. Okay, so check this one right here. Now let's look at the next one. So we have s. So first thing I want to do is make sure that the this radical expression is isolated. So what I'm going to do before I rewrite it, I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. So it's going to be s minus 4 equals to square root of s plus 2. Okay, next thing I want to do is I'm going to square both sides so I can get rid of that square root. Okay, so this, you understand that it's going to be s minus 4 times s minus 4, right? So that's going to give you s squared. Let me erase the whole thing. Okay, so that's going to give you s squared minus 8s plus 16. Okay, that's going to equal to s plus 2. Okay, so since we're going to have quadratic, so the way to work on this is that you want to set one side equals to 0. So subtract s on both sides and then subtract 2 on both sides. Okay, so what you're going to get here is you're going to have s squared minus 9s and then plus 14, which equals to 0. Okay, so I don't have enough space, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it over here. So you're going to factor it, so it's going to be s minus 4, s minus 2, which equals to 0. Set both expressions equal to 0, you're going to get s equals to 7 or s equals to 2. Okay, so here is the problem. So if you plug in one of them in there, so if you plug in 2 in here, and oops, so it looks like it won't work. Okay, if you plug in 2, because that's gonna give you, I'm gonna write it in green, so that's gonna give you 2 equals to 4 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so that's going to be 2 equals to 4 plus square root of 4. So 2 is equal to 4 plus 2. Looks like 2 does not equal to 6, right? So 2 cannot be your solution. So in this case, 2 is going to be the extraneous solution. So you're going to have to just choose s equals to 7. Sorry, it's a little messy here. All right, so let's look at the next one. So let's isolate this exponential, that expression right there. That expression, you can rewrite it as square root of 4x minus 4. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. Okay, so ensure that the square root is isolated. So I'm going to have x minus 4 equals to square root of 4x minus 4. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to square both sides. Turn my music down a little. Okay, so next thing I want to do is FOIL the x minus 4 squared. So that's going to be x squared minus 8x plus 16, okay, equals to 4x minus 4. All right, so I'm going to set one side equals to 0, so subtract 4x on both sides, add 4 on both sides. So on the right hand side it will be 0. Okay, on the left hand side it's going to be quadratic, so subtract 12x plus 20. Okay, factor this. Okay, so factor it. It's going to be subtract 10, subtract 2. So your x is going to equal to 10, or x is going to equal to 2. So I'm not going to make a mess over here, but I'm going to tell you guys that the extraneous solution is going to be the x equals to 2. This is the extraneous solution. Okay, so that one, if you plug it back in, it would not work. So only one that's working is going to be x equals to 10. So make sure you check this one. Okay, so I'll have to erase a good portion of it in order to do the next problem. Okay, so let me erase this. Okay, so let's go over the next one. So understand that this to the 1/2 is basically square root. Okay, so you're gonna have square root and 2a squared plus 5a plus 2, which equals to 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is get rid of that square root by squaring both sides. Okay, so that's going to give me just 2a squared. And then we erase a little more from here. Plus 5a plus 2 equals to 3 squared. That's going to be 9. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. Okay, so make sure that one side equals to 0. So I'm going to write it over here. So 2a squared plus 5a minus 9 equals to 0. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and factor this. So it's going to be 2a and then positive a, and then you're going to add 7 and then subtract 1 over there. Okay, these are just simple factoring. Okay, so your a value is going to equal to negative 7 over 2, or a equals to 1. Okay, so if you plug it back into the original equation, both of them is going to work. So this is the one you want to check. Okay, so the speed of a tsunami, blah, 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 travel can, okay, so that's the equation right there. Okay, spot this equation. So S is equal to 356 square root of D. They said the S is the speed. Okay, so this is the speed. Okay, and then D is the average depth of the water in kilometer. Okay, so this is the depth. Okay, depth. All right, so they said that tsunami is traveling at 140 kilometers per hour. Okay, so this is going to be 140. Okay, so let's go ahead and rewrite this equation. So I'm going to just go ahead and erase this. So I'm going to put in 140. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and solve for this. So make sure you guys isolate the this expression. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to divide it by 356 on both sides. Okay, so what am I get? 140 divided by 356. So that's going to be 0.3932. Okay, that's equal to square root of D. Now, in order to isolate the D, you gotta have to square both sides, right? So let's square both sides right here. Okay, so now you just got your D isolated. Okay, so that's going to be D equals to 0.1546. You can round it to 0.155. Okay, so check this one. All right, so the formula here, oops, sorry. All right, so the formula here gives you this one right here. Let me rewrite this. So T is equal to 2 pi square root of L over 32. Now let's figure out what they are. Okay, so they said that the T is making a full swing back and forth. Okay, this is the time. So let's mark this. This is the time. L is the length. Okay, in feet. All right. So now they want to ask you that if the time is 1.9 seconds, what will be the length of L? Okay. So let's erase the time. We're gonna put in the 1.9. Okay. Let's just go ahead and isolate the radical expression. Okay, so you're gonna have to use 3.14 for pi. So let's just multiply this out. So this will be 3.14. So you're gonna multiply by 3.14. Okay, that's gonna be 6.28. Okay, let's rewrite everything. So 1.9 is equal to 6.28 multiplied by the radical expression L over 32. First thing I want to do, divided by 6.28 on both sides. Okay, so 1.9 divided by 6.28, that's going to be 0.3025. Okay, 47777. Okay, whatever, you don't write all of them. Okay, that's going to equal to square root of L over 32, and then next thing you want to do is square both sides. Okay, so if you square both sides, you are going to get 0.09153, okay, which is equal to L over 32. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to multiply by 32 on both sides. Okay, so let's do that. Multiply by 32 on both sides. Okay, you're going to get your L. Oops. L is equal to 2.929. Okay, so here all you need to do is put 3 feet. All right, so now it's the equations right here. So we got the time equals to 2 multiplied by 2h over 32 to the 1/2. Okay, so they say that time, that's t, and then h is the height of the jump. Okay, so they said that if the player 1 had a hang time of 0.9 seconds, and then player 2 has a hang time of 0.8 seconds, that's a big difference if you play basketball. Okay, so how much higher did the player 1 jump than the player 2? Okay, so let's talk about player 1. Let's use 2 different colors. So let's say player 1, P1. Okay, so the player 1, the hang time was 0.9. So 0.9 equals to 2, and then 2h over 32 to the 1/2. Okay, and then player 2, let's use different color here. So player 2, it's going to be 0.8 second equals to 2h over 32 to the 1/2. Okay, so what you need to do first, let's do the same thing. So use green. We're going to divide it by 2 on both sides on both equations. Okay, so what I'm going to get here is for the player 1, 0.45 equals to 2h over 32 to the 1/2. Okay, I'm just going to focus on just the player 1 and see how it goes. And you want to square both sides. Okay, so 0.45, sorry, 0.45, you want to square it. That's going to be 0.2025 equals to 2h over 32. Okay, you can actually simplify the 2 and 32. This is going to be 16. So which means that all you need to do is multiply by 16 on both sides. Okay, you should be able to get your answer. So that's going to be 3. So that's going to be player 1's height. That's going to equal to 3.24. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out the next person. Let's see. We're going to do the math. So this is 0.4 equals to 2h over 32 to the 1/2. Okay, so we're gonna square both sides. Okay, simplify the fraction inside. So what you're gonna get here is going to be, well, 0.4 times 0.4. That's going to be 0.16. Okay, so you have h over 16. All right, so they're gonna multiply by 16 on both sides. Let's do that. Multiply by 16 on both sides. Okay, so now what I get is 16 times, that's going to be 2.56. So these are canceled. So player 2 is going to be 2.56. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is using the 3.24 minus 2.56. So let's get that done. So that's going to be, the difference is going to be, let me use a different color. It's going to be 0.68. Okay, so that's in feet. That's approximately 8.16 inches. Okay, so in here, all you need to put is 8 inches. Okay, so that's it for the assignment part. Good luck.